Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Final Flight podcast. And finally, the Cheltenham Festival Countdown show is back. We're proper excited for this series again. We're going to be rolling through the season. We're going to be finding these Ante-post bets, talking about the weekend, and we're going to get, as always, some fantastic guests on. And what a way to start. Mr. Kielan Woods, welcome. Good evening. How are you, mate? Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, all good, James. Thanks for having me.
Good, mate. We really appreciate it. Like I say, last season we were really well supported from and some really good jockeys, and to get people like yourself on to sort of just chat through a few things, it's just really good, and we really do appreciate it. And we can't wait to get stuck into some of the action. I mean, Joe, you've actually got a base camp now, or you have for tonight at least, after being roaming reporter in the car. Are you looking forward to this Cheltenham series, mate?
I am, mate. I mean, it looks like I'm in Ballamore, doesn't it? But yeah, mate, at least I've got a base. Yeah, I can't wait. Obviously, everyone's mentioning it now, aren't they? After the weekend, after seeing Gordon pull some out, and you're seeing the novice chasers starting and stuff like that. So I think the blood's flowing, and all the questions with all the yard stuff going about with Mullins and stuff. Yeah, so I can't wait, mate. It'll be brilliant.
Good man. And Rich, obviously, you had a 33-1 winner on the season last year. It was your only winner over a 20-week period. We've obviously cut that down in half because we can't be doing listening to you put some right tripe up. But are you looking forward to this series again as well?
Yeah, the only way is up. If I can get two winners, then 100% improvement.
Good man. Well, like I said, what we're trying to make this show about is kind of we get a good guest on, which we have tonight, Keelan. Brilliant. We had a little bit of review of the weekend that we've kind of just had. We'll talk to Keelan about some of the horses he's ridden, a couple of sort of horses to follow, and then our Ante-post selections at the end. So we'll get straight into it. No better place to start, if I can, with you, Keelan. We're going to talk about the Charlie Hall, obviously down to a grade 2 now. Brave Man's Game was the hot favourite, and the real whacker's done him. I mean, sort of, what did you make of that race? So from your point of view?
Yeah, funny race, isn't it? It's hard one to work out, really. Real whacker. He's obviously a good horse, wasn't he? But he was disappointing in Listowel. In the Curry National, he looked like he never rose a gallop at all until he unseated Sam Davis. So yeah, look, it's a hard one to work out. I thought Brave Man's Game looked laboured from a long way out. He did jump well, but he had no excuses. Only for that, Paul Nicholls' horses have been needing the run, and but he's going to have to jump massively forward to be competing at the top table, isn't he? He looks like he's gone a little bit slow and a little bit laboured, and it just looks all a bit of an effort for him. But yeah, look, it's good racing all the same, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd agree with what you say there. I mean, obviously, Rich is a massive fan of Brave Man's Game, and I mean, obviously, the cloud around Nicholls' runners, a lot of them had need in the run. I mean, there was Irish Hill today who was pulled up first run, and he's gone and won today. So, I mean, I'll come to you, Rich. Obviously, are you going to give him one more chance, or is he kind of done at the top table of 3 now? Would you take him back? He had sort of everything in his favour, and he's still got beat again. I'm not going to smile too much. It's obviously French time out rubbish, but yeah, go on, mate.
Yeah, for me, I think that's it. I mean, he had everything in his favour. He had the ground. He was highest rated. Even Nicholls said that he was fit enough. He thought he was going to win, and yeah, I thought actually he ran fairly well. He jumped well, but he just didn't get past the real whacker. It was like the Browns all over again. But yeah, for me, I just don't think he's the same horse he was, and yeah, I can't see him going to the King George now. I mean, he's rated 160 odd. He barely ran to mid 150s, I'd have thought, low 150s. He's got some improvement to go to get back up to that sort of King George level. So yeah, I think I'm just going to leave him.
I tell you what, Joe, it didn't take much for him to completely desert his favourite horse of all time, did it? One bad run in first run of the season, like Keelan said there, they've needed the run. He might come on from it. What did you think, Joe?
I watched Harry Cobden sort of talk about the race, and he just said he didn't travel as well as he does. He did jump well, but he jumped quite exuberant, and he said it just didn't feel like him. I think coming round the home turn, you could tell he was minding him. He just didn't want to ask for that effort too early, and he just didn't seem to find an extra gear at all. He didn't seem to plug on. Obviously last year he sort of made the a hash of the last, and you could say that was the problem with the ground, a combination with the ground. But this year, I don't think there was any excuses, and I think, I mean, take nothing away from the real Wacker, brilliant race, you know, brilliant horse. He's done brilliant for the yard, hasn't he, in connections. But I think Braveman's Games days are over, especially the way Harry Cobden ended the interview with, he hasn't been a bad horse, has he? You know, that sort of shows that, are they giving up on him? You know, at one point we all thought he was going to be flying the flag for the English in the sort of staying chasers or the classy chasers sort of route. But when you've got Fact to File coming out, and you know you'll have Galloping Deschamps reappearing, and Jerry Colombe and all the Irish, you know, you've seen even Envoy Allen and Hewick and horses like that coming over. He's nowhere near, is he?
No, I mean, you make a good point there to sort of move on to the next race we're going to look at, and you know, obviously moving over to Down Royal. Kielan, obviously Jerry Colombe come back. He was beaten by Envoy Allen. I mean, it was a brilliant race between him and Hewick. I thought that, you know, they've gone toe to toe to the end there. Sort of in your view, looking at that race, would you give up? I mean, I wouldn't give up on Jerry Colombe, would you? Or would you kind of put a rhyme through him now, or what would you think of coming from that race?
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't give up on Jerry Colombe. You know, that horse has got one target, isn't he? He's got it's in March. So, but look, he looked laboured now too. I didn't think he jumped great. Ground possibly a little bit on the good side for him. You know, his form is better on softer ground, and Ireland haven't been having a lot of rain. I know they were calling it good yielding, but it looked like more like good ground to me watching it on the telly. Hewick looked like he had him out of his comfort zone for a long time. Now he looked like he had Envoy Allen out of his comfort zone too for a little while, but I suppose his class shone through. Yeah, look, it'd be interesting to see what Gordon Elliott does with Jerry Colombe, whether he goes to the Dublin Racing Festival. I think, am I right in saying they only gave him one run before Cheltenham last year at the Dublin Racing Festival and Down Royal, Down Royal and the Dublin Racing Festival. So it'd be interesting to see. I don't know. Does he take many runs? Is he going to try and get another run into him now this year or not before Cheltenham? But he certainly did look slow now the other day. He looked laboured.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. To be honest, I think a couple of them are looking a little bit like they are needing the run. You say there the ground did look a little bit on the quick side. I won't, like you say, I won't give up on him. I give him one. I mean, he's entered in the John Durkan, but that's sort of stepping back in trip. You got, you know, all the big names in there. Whether he'd go there, probably not. He'd go to the DRF and then on to Cheltenham.
Unfortunately for Jerry Colombe, Gordon Elliott's horses are absolutely flying, and not a lot of them have missed except Jerry Colombe. So I can't imagine he's been doing masses of less work compared to the rest of them. So you'd like to think, you know, the rest of the stable is in form. So I suppose from that point of view, it probably was a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to think that after winning it last year, they'd have been a bit disappointed that he hadn't gone and done it again. But like you say there, Hewitt seemed to have him off his toes quite early on, to be honest. And a few little laboured jumps and a little bit of skew with jumps. But be interesting to see where they go next. Get him on a bit more softer ground. We'll see what he thinks. What did you make of it, Rich? I mean, it's good to see Envoy Allen win again, to be fair.
Yeah, you know, I always thought the ground was going to be the main issue for Jerry. You know, we all know he likes the deep stuff. I would wait to see if it's Christmas or Dublin, but see what he's like when he's taking on that soft, heavy ground. I mean, he's probably taking on another Galloping Deschamps or maybe a Fact to File. So we'll see where he sits in the pecking order for the Gold Cup later on in the season. But yeah, I thought he'd get closer, if I'm honest with you. I mean, last year it was a nail-biting finish at the line, whereas I think he was about 10, 13 lengths behind Hewick and Envoy Allen. Is that all down to the ground? Maybe not, but yeah, I'd give him another chance, definitely, especially when the rain comes.
Yeah, last one for you. I mean, I could have maybe forgiven him Hewitt beating him with Hewick already having the run and maybe having a bit of fitness on his edge, but the fact that Envoy Allen's beat him first time out as well after having a run, well, losing to him last year after having a run, you would be a little bit worried, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the track couldn't win, could they? They had Sharks in, they've overwatered it. And Gordon Elliott at the start of the week saying, if you don't water it, none of ours are turning up. So they couldn't really win there, could they? But it's tough. I mean, do you remember when Galopin Deschamps got beaten? Everyone, not overreacted, but everyone was like, "Oh, is it the same Galopin?" I think he went out about 4-1, and then he reappeared and he won. And then all of a sudden, it's the Galopin Deschamps trade. Don't get me wrong, I don't think he's the level of Galopin Deschamps, but I wouldn't give up on him yet. But like Kielan said, Gordon's in flying form. That'd be the most worrying thing. It's not like Nichols where he hasn't been in form. Someone need a run. Jerry doesn't really have an excuse here, and like you say, 3 lengths staying on, you'd go, yeah, fair enough. First run of the season, blowing the cobwebs off, but 13 lengths detached. And as well, the term you hear a lot in racing is, sometimes a run in a Gold Cup for a horse can not ruin the horse, but bottom the horse out, and they can never get him the same again. Has that happened? We're not sure. I'd like to see him again. But like I say, could you trust him in a Gold Cup at Cheltenham? I don't think.
Time will tell.
Yeah, I don't think you could at the moment.
Yeah, it's certainly building up to be a nice story. The 3 mile chase division. Moving on to the mares division, then I'll stick with you, Joe, and I'll go back round. Brighter Days Ahead obviously won the race against the boys. What did you make of this, and how do you take this forward? She's obviously going to be probably a hot favourite now, or near enough up there. We lost him out for the mares. We don't know what's going to happen with lost him out, but what do you think of Brighter Days Ahead's performance?
I was the biggest fan last year. I had him in my Ante-post team at 4-1 or something, and how she got beat at Cheltenham. Well, I do know they went at 10 mile an hour around Cheltenham and sprinted the last 10 yards. But yeah, she was impressive. I think, personally, I took her on because I thought the ground wasn't soft enough, the trip was too short. Willie's had the fitness run, and if she was ever going to have a run against the boys where everything's against her, it's going to be here. She's going to be stretched. She done it well. I'm not overly convinced Daddy Longlegs at all. It looked like they were going to try and use his stamina, and then all of a sudden he got the first 3 wrong. Brighter Days Ahead took it up. I thought she would have been a lot keener. I think that's one thing I did take away from it. Last year at Cheltenham, when they did go crawl, she was very keen. She was pulling. She sort of made her own pace, and she kicked away from the last very well. She was still leggy, but she was still going, which is what you want to see. I think she is a very, very strong contender for the mares. However, I'm firmly in the camp that Lossiemouth will still go the mares. I think, when you look at the horses lining up, really, she's you could argue and say she's got to try it. Do you know what I mean? She blew them away last year, but I think you'll sort of have an opinion over Christmas. She'll have to face some of them mystical, whoever it is. State Man, she might come over, whatever, I don't know. But if Constitution Hill and State Man are there, I can't see her finishing in the top 2 or beating them 2. I know everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but for me, I've gone to a different argument instead. But yeah, Brighter Days Ahead was brilliant. Would I have a better at 5-2 now in for the mares hurdle? Not a chance. No, I'd wait and see. I think that's short enough for me.
Go on then, Kielan, mate. I'll come to you. I mean, Brighter Days Ahead, like Joe said there, had quite a lot against her. She's still gone and beat the boys. So I suppose what the question is, what do you make of the form? And do you see her going well in the mares? And thirdly, what do you think is going to actually happen with Lossiemouth? I kind of put a question out to Twitter. Do they think she'll actually end up in the mares or the champion? What do you think?
Yeah, look, she was visually impressive the weekend, wasn't she? She travelled well. She jumped fairly well on the whole. As I said, she relaxed nicely. Willie's horse is probably disappointing. Didn't really get into much of a rhythm, I didn't think. Ran a bit fresh and keen over the first 3. Made mistakes. He's probably better than that. You'd probably see a different horse now the next day with him. But look, you couldn't take anything away from her. She was impressive. She kicked the last out of the ground and still went away and won. Yeah, she'll definitely run in the mares hurdle race, won't she? And I think myself Lossiemouth will run in it. I can't see Lossiemouth taking on State Man all season. And I think the only way Willie would run Lossiemouth is in the champion hurdle is if she beats State Man this season. But I can't see where they're going to meet each other. I'm sure if Paul Townsend has anything got to do with it, he won't want to be making the choice between the two of them. He'll want to keep them separate too. So yeah, look, I don't know. Maybe she will end up in the champion hurdle lossing out, will she? I don't know, but I can't see it myself. The mayor's hurdle's there for mayors, isn't it? And Richie, although he'd love a champion hurdle winner, he still loves a winner at Cheltenham.
Yeah, it's such a fascinating story. I mean, I'll start with Bridie Deshead. I thought she ran well. I think she's really a very good horse. I think she maybe just got a bit tired towards the end, that jump at the end. But again, like you say there, she kind of kicked on again and showed that she has got the stamina and stuff. I mean, Rich, we talk about Bridie Deshead, lost him out of the whole situation. Just give us your quick opinion on it, mate. It'd be nice to know. Nice to hear what you think.
I was very impressed with her. It was probably on ground that was a bit too quick for her over a distance that was probably too short. And yeah, she kept it simple, led most of the way. The last, she just kind of plowed through it, didn't she? Didn't even bother jumping it, just kind of ran through it. And yeah, very impressive indeed. I just think she'll get better as the season goes ahead, as the ground gets softer, up in distance to that 2 miles 4. I think she'll take most of the beating in all these mares races that come up. And you know what I think about Lossiemouth, so I'll wait till our picks.
All right, I'll let you talk about Lossiemouth later, and I think she'll end up in the mares. I like Kielan says there. Will Willie keep them apart? Is he going to throw them in against each other? Townley's not going to want to choose. It's just going to be fascinating to see what they actually decide to do.
Can I just say one thing?
Stateman wasn't in the picture. It might be a different story, wouldn't it? But at the minute, he's still in the picture, isn't he? So.
Correct, yeah. You're talking about an exceptional horse that won it last year. Like he's got to be the number one as it stands. She's still got a lot to find. You know what I mean? Go on, Joe.
Can I just say one thing? I know we said it, lads, but I don't know if you've seen it, Keelan. I don't know what was in the water in Ireland at the weekend, but Gordon Elliott come out and said brighter days ahead, could go for the champion hurdle. That is just ludicrous.
I love him. He's hilarious.
Yeah, I thought what was the horse Gordon ran in the champion hurdle last year? I can't think of his name. Irish Point.
Irish Point.
Oh, Irish Point, yeah.
Is he injured? Did I read the other day?
Yeah, he's out for the season.
Yeah, he's out for the season.
So has Gordon Elliott got a horse for the champion hurdle?
Well, there you go. That's a good question. If he's
Probably
thinking,
she's probably not going to beat Lossiemouth. Lossiemouth runs in the mayor's hurdle, so she might as well run in the champion hurdle.
I mean, that is a good point. I mean, if Willie don't think Lossiemouth gets near Stateman and Elliot don't think she gets near Lossiemouth, I'll just run her in champion hurdle, sod it. Why not? Tank her off in front, see what happens. Nah, it's going to be a fascinating storyline throughout the season. Hopefully, we get to see the outcome at some point. I mean, there's Jade de Grugy in there as well. Don't forget, I think she's staying over hurdles, so she could be in the mix for the mares as well. Them two matching up against each other again. Right, the last one then I'll talk about just briefly before we move on to talk about some of your rides, Keelan, if we can. Romeo Coolio obviously made his debut now. What did you make of that, Keelan? Obviously, Elliot's not got much for 2 mile. He said supreme. What do you think of Romeo Coolio?
Yeah, look, visually very impressive again to watch, wasn't he? He was slick, looked fast, looked like he didn't have to be extended at all, really. Very impressive. His form is fairly solid, isn't it? Second in the champion bumper. It'd be interesting to see whether he runs in the Royal Bond. I'd imagine that's probably where he's going to end up, is it? I'd
that's the plan. Elliot said that after, yeah.
Now, look, he'll have to show that again, won't he, to prove it? Because he didn't have to beat. He didn't beat a supreme horse in second the other day, I don't think. But he'll have to go and show that in the Royal Bond now again. But I've got a feeling he will. He looks very smart. He looks the real deal, doesn't he?
Yeah, certainly does. I mean, Rich, I'll let you have a quick word on him. I thought he jumped really well. He travelled through it beautifully. Obviously, like I say, he's not beat anything, but that's some of the races that we have when these top level horses. And he's won quite well. Royal Bond bound. See how he gets on.
Yeah, very impressive. Like, I don't think any horse would want to get close to him, but like you say, he can only beat what's in front of him, and he did it very well. I mean, I've heard people say he's a big strapping horse, obviously built for fences in the future. 2 miles is his trip. I don't know. Will he be better ever further? I guess we'll find out how he gets on in the Royal Bond. But no, you can't complain as a hurdle debut. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I said to you there, Joe, I mentioned you before, I think it's interesting that I think he maybe would be a little bit better over further, but he probably won't do with him. I don't think Elliot's got much for 2 mile novice division over hurdles. What about you?
No, 100%. I mean, you do hear a lot of top trainers say, though, you need a horse that gets the Gallagher's trip, for the Supreme, because they seem to go off an absolute clip. It's the first race of this festival, the Raw, everything. They go an absolute hammer and tongue around, so you need a horse who stays. But, very, very impressive, visually impressive, yes, great to see beat what was in front of him, but, there's going to be horses come out during the season, isn't there? Although he was brilliant, I wouldn't get too carried away, Maybe if he goes and does something in similar fashion in the Royal Bond, where Willie sends his best novices there, and whoever else in Ireland, then you might look and go, well, yeah, this lad's the real deal. But before then, keep your feet on the ground, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think he might come second in the Royal Bond, but we'll talk about that later on. Right, so that's the first section done. So moving on now, if I can, Kielan, and come to you. What we like to do is talk about a few of the rides sort of from yourself over the weekend or last few days. Just trying to get your lines into it, how you think it went, or where you might think they might go next. And the first one I'm going to speak about, if I can, is 6 Mile Bridge. You come second on him over at Stratford. What did you make of him? He's sort of maybe under pressure from quite far out. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I was gutted, to be honest. I thought he'd go around on the bridle.
Ended up having your work cut out a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, honestly, I thought he could be the real deal now, 6 Mile Bridge, and I still do. It's his first run after a wind up, and the track was a little bit tight. We knew that, but we went there because the ground was safe. It was the only bit of good soft ground around in England in the last week. Nice ground. That's why he went there. He just felt a little bit flat out. Skelton set out to use the race fitness and win. So it was probably actually a good race with Stratford. It rode a good race. We went a proper gallop, which doesn't normally, for a novice hurdler around there, doesn't normally really happen. I'm hoping he just leaves that run behind and shows us the next day the kind of horse that I thought he was. I'm not sure where he's going to go now. I'll see what Fergal wants to do with him and the Megsons. But look, the plan was he was going to go to Stratford and go for the Grade 2 Winter Novice at Sandown that starts in December. That could still be the plan. I'd be still happy for him to go and do that. But yeah, look, it was a little bit disappointing. We thought we'd win, but he's run really creditably all the same. And Alan King's horse is probably actually a good horse. You look back through his form, he's got nice bits of form there, so he has. So it could just work out to be a little bit above average race for Stratford.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there, I think. And we definitely, we mentioned on X before that we were going to kind of follow him even after that. I think he'll have learned a lot as well. Like you say, you had to get into him. He's had to jump at a decent speed. So I think he'll come on for that, definitely. And
another thing, he works very well at home, and he does things a bit easy. So he might just be entitled to come on from having, a bit of a race and a bit of match practice. So I hope the next day he runs, we might just see the horse that I kind of thought he was, if you know what I mean. Oh yeah,
definitely. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Perfect. The next one then is, I might muller some of these pronunciations, so I do apologise if I do, but Katuna River.
Yeah.
Who was a 3 mile pointer that we've got here. You've ridden him twice now. He obviously made another seasonal reappearance, come third over at Wetherby. What did you make of him and him sort of going forward? Do you think he's going to go chasing or anything like that? Or is he staying?
Yeah, I think he might go chasing. Ground is too quick for him up in Wetherby the other day. Never let himself down. And that's the only thing that was wrong with him the other day. Just he'd never let himself down from a long way out. I thought he'd win. I still thought he might win, turning into the straight. He's a nice horse. He's on the right side of the handicapper. A little bit softer ground the next day. I'd like to think he'll win.
Yeah, I think a few of them are maybe struggling with this ground. We're not really getting any sort of rate now.
Wetherby was quick the other day. Now that was yeah. That could have done.
Yeah, it was very fast. He was if you weren't really a good ground horse, you were struggling. But no, we'll be following him next time as well.
It's more like summer good ground rather than winter good ground, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's not what we want for the start of November, is it?
No, definitely not.
Hopefully the rain does come eventually. So there's two others. One over is an absolute rogue of a horse that we do quite like on the podcast, but it was bad over at Ascot, and you've obviously come second to Baloo there. Let me know what you thought on that, because we thought, I had a little bit of money on him. I was counting my money when you went past, and I thought, here we go, how far?
I still don't actually know. I don't actually know how he didn't win, to be honest. I say he needs a big handicap, and he needs dropping on the line, I think. I don't actually think he's a monkey, believe it or not. I just think he's a short runner.
Yeah.
I think when you let him down, he's got 20, 30 yards in him that he goes, and then he bottoms out. And I think that's him. Rather than thinking he's not trying, maybe he's not, but my opinion is that he's fast. He's more of a short runner rather than he's not trying. I didn't actually want to jump to the front 2 out. I just wanted to stay upside Nico de Boinville, and Bad had other ideas, and he went down and absolutely winged it. And that's why I went then. But in hindsight, I'd rather follow Nico down to the last and had one go and just see if that worked, because he is a fast horse when you let him down. So yeah, I'd like to have rode it again now and waited a little bit and just had one go and just see then, and then we can decide if he's trying or not.
I love that. Yeah, there's been a couple of times, like I say, if you get him in like a big field and he's just kind of tanking along, and you just keep hold of him as long as you possibly can.
Yeah, there's a big one in him. There is a big one in him. Yeah, he'll win a big one.
There's got to be, hasn't there? He's just one of them horses. You just hope to God it comes right for him at one of these points.
Was it when he first come over from France? He was hammered in on the day.
Yeah, for Fred Winter.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, it was major back to him, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was about 14-1, and then I checked. He went off joint favourite, didn't he? About 7-2.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. No, he came over with a big reputation. But yeah, look, he's probably not that good, but there's a big handicap in him for sure. And I thought he jumped fences very well. Fences were big around Ascot now the weekend. And he's only a small horse. So I was delighted to see the way he jumped his fences and attacked them. So he certainly has a future as a chaser. But yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
we'll be 15 runner chase and 5 in front of you going down to 2 out. see how you get on from there.
I love that. I'm looking forward to his next couple of runs, and hopefully we can find the right one for him.
Yeah.
So the last one then was one the other day. Well, he actually won the Colin Parker on Marble Sands. I backed an horse in there, Terrapin Law, and you've absolutely done me over. So thank you for that. No, you won it really well, I thought. What did you make of that run, and what do you think of him going forward?
Yeah, look, he's a nice horse, and he done nothing wrong last year. I won the Sydney Banks on him a couple of years ago. He beat a horse of Charlie Longson's Rare Edition, who actually won over fences there not too long ago.
Yep.
But yeah, he's a good horse. He's had a couple of runs in the flat, just to leave him right. He was supposed to run in the Old Roan Chase, and the ground wasn't ideal up in Aintree, so they declared him for the Colin Parker instead. And yeah, look, it possibly wasn't the strongest Colin Parker that has been run, but you couldn't knock the way he done it. I thought he jumped really well, bar 2 out. It did help me that the whole race jumped left and went a right gallop up front. But it'd be interesting to see where they go now. Whether he might go to the Peterborough, maybe. He's won around Huntington before in the Sydney Banks, but he's a good little horse. He's might just be a pound or two below being the next level, but he's certainly lurking around, top handicaps, maybe just scraping into kind of proper graded races. But he's certainly done nothing wrong.
Fantastic. No, I think you did a really good round there. I was on Terrapin Law. I think you were out there. They kind of went off a little bit too quick, and the other horse, can't remember its name now, jumped really out to his left.
John Harry.
Yeah, he was well out to his left, but no, it was a good race. Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. Thank you for that. The next bit, then, we kind of like to ask for two horses to follow from yourself, whether it's going to be somebody you might be riding or that you're associated with. Have you got any for us to follow for this season?
Two
absolute bankers, please, at double figure prices. That'd be great.
Right, absolute bankers. That's easy, no problem. So what have we got? Well, Kielan won a bumper in Warwick about a month ago now. and he's a horse I think a lot of. I thought he was very impressive in Warwick. You know, he got big and green on me when it came to the business end, but once he got into strides, he went and won well. Second horse come out and won again since. So has the third horse maybe. No, the fourth horse. The fourth horse come out and finished third in the bumper again, I think it was. But it rode like a good bumper. He's a really nice horse. He's been put away now until that listed bumper at Ascot. He's going to go to that, and then maybe with Aintree in mind. But he's a really nice horse for the future, and he does jump really well as well. So when time comes to it, he could hopefully turn into a nice one. And yeah, the Megson's got another nice Blue Brazil filly who hasn't run yet, called Blue Betty. She's doing things quite nicely at Fergus O'Brien's, so be looking forward to her running now. Yeah, I'm not sure when she's going to run. She'll run in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'd say. Where I'm not sure, but you know, wherever she runs, I think she's doing everything pretty nicely.
Fantastic, nice one. Well, we'll get them added to the trackers. That'll do us. Right, so that's it for that section. The next sort of, well, what I'm first going to do before we move, what we do next is we're going to add the first Ante-post selections to our team. We'll do one each, and then if we get one for you, Kielan, as well, we'll do like a guest team and see how we go up against it last time. I think the guest did pretty well last year, I think. I think the best one was probably
Darryl Jacob got them, didn't he? He picked Factor File after he got beaten at Novice Chase at, was it 12-1 to win any race at the festival?
Something like that, yeah. It was a pretty good bet. And obviously Harry Skelton gave us Langadan, didn't he? And a bit of a wink. We didn't really believe him, but we should have done. I don't think he'll get him handicapped this time round, but you never know.
Lucky enough he came right for the festival.
I know he's done well there.
That mysterious nosebleed disappeared.
No, right. Anyway, they'll find another one for it, no doubt. So what I'm going to mention is next. Obviously, what we've done is we've partnered up with Hacked Up Racing. So I'm just going to stick this up now for people to see. But we're going to run a competition, which will be if you're watching, put and like subscribing to the show. You just got to add in the comments of each video, add your Ante-post selections in, build your own team. It'll be a team of 10. And at the end, you're going to get to win. If the best team will win a full race day bundle, which is going to be a embroidered body warmer, a pair of socks, a beanie hat, and a mug as well. And that's all supplied by Hacked Up Racing. He's doing a fantastic job over there. So if you can enter the competition, you're going to have a chance to win all that. Right. Here we go. This is the real nitty-gritty now, and I'm going to come to you first, Joe. Seeing as you've got a base camp, I'm going to let you kick us off with your first Ante-post selection for Cheltenham Festival 2025.
So my first Ante-post selection is Marshborough in the Brown Advisory Novice Chase.
So you're getting 10-1 for that, mate. You're getting 10-1 for him.
10-1. I think this horse is an absolute machine. You know, I've got a funny story actually. I went to Cheltenham and I flew home, and on the Friday I said to my cousin, I said, he's going to be a chaser next year. So he's only young, he's going to be a chaser. He'll win next year at Cheltenham. And he backed him for the triumph, and I backed Nürburgring. And he sat there going, get him. I says, what? He says, I backed him. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, you know, he was absolutely massive. I did have a bet after Cheltenham last year on him, and I was buzzing when the Willie Mullins stable tour come out, and he sort of said that they are taking him over fences. You know, I just think he's such a classy horse. They weren't tough on him last year. He finished second, didn't he? And then obviously won at Cheltenham. I think the further he went, the better he got. You know, Willie said that too. I think 10-1's a fair price. You've got Ballyburn in there at 6 his favourite. He's not going to go there, is he? The one danger is probably Dancing City, but I'm happy to go with Marshborough here. You know, we all know JP Willie Mullins when they get to Cheltenham, you know how good they are. And I think, although he's not a similar profile, it's a sort of similar, not risk, but to what they've done with Factor File, you know, not going hurdling straight to fences because he was such a big horse. I think they will take the time with him throughout the season. You know, he said that they're not going to over race him, they're just going to try and get him nicely in there. He'll have some. Is it before December he gets the 4-year-old weight allowance in the chases?
Yeah,
I think in Ireland.
I I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't think there's. I don't think he gets an allowance in the actual Browns. I don't think.
No, he doesn't. But Willie said they're going to use that, to his advantage to get him, get him a lot of experience in probably decent races where he's going to get a bit of an allowance. And I mean, Patrick said he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I think he is. I love the horse, and I can't wait to see him jump the fence. I think he's brilliant, and I think 10-1. Fingers crossed, if he gets there, I think he will go off. He will go off, sure, but you never know, do you? Like I say, last year I had El Fabiolo and whatnot, and I was covering my eyes in despair.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, mate. The whole no turners and now the Browns and Arca is going to be a good sort of story throughout the season. Keelan, what do you make of Malmesbury? I kind of like to ask the guests what they think of each pick, sort of thing, because normally all last season, whenever Rich put his pick up, the guest always said no chance. What do you think of Malmesbury, mate?
I think Joe speaking about him was very impressive. I've learned a lot about him in the last couple of minutes there. So you get a job doing stats for you. Send me on your number.
You obviously don't listen. You obviously don't listen every week, then.
Yeah, no. Look, he looks hugely exciting, doesn't he? So, and yeah, it is interesting that they've gone chasing with him. It's not really something JP normally do, is it? Can't really remember one. Can you? To take steps chasing straight after. But yeah, look, he looks very exciting. Long way to go with him. He's a young horse, isn't it? Maybe he could end up in an entry rather than Cheltenham. But
tell you what, he's done you already, Joe. He's not even going to Cheltenham. Look,
it's always tough at the start. Wait till you read your riches, Keelan. We've already discussed it.
But yeah, no, look, he looks hugely exciting, doesn't he? And he's got plenty of water to go under the bridge with him yet, but yeah, he looks exciting.
Yeah, plenty to happen. Go on then, Rich. We're going to swing to you, and then I'll do one. Then we'll finish on Keelan. Who is your episode 1 pick? Are you ready for this? Don't just close your ears, Keelan. Go on, Rich.
So yeah, I'm taking a bit of a gamble, but I'm still fairly confident or semi-confident that Lossiemouth is going to end up in the champion hurdle. I missed her in my team last year, so I'm whacking her in now. I just love the horse. I think she's an absolute machine.
You can't stop laughing, Keelan. Look, he's laughing at you. Like, I can't believe it.
I mean, she's only 5. She'll be going into 6 when the champion hurdle is ran. She's rated 155, I think. She'll obviously get the £6. That takes her to 161.
No, get 7. Get £7.
Is it £7? Oh, even better. 162. What
so she's still got about £8 to find, yeah? Sorry, go on. Sorry, I don't mean to.
169, isn't he?
Somewhat daft like that, yeah?
Yeah.
170 odd, didn't he?
Well, he won his last race of 169, so unless he's gone up, I mean, he might have done. I just think she could improve. I mean, I know he's danced every dance. I do like State Man. I think he's probably still the bet in the Champion Hill at the current prices, but I just think if Constitution Hill does somehow come back, we already know State Man can't beat him. Why not give it a crack to Lossiemouth, see what she can do? So I just think she'll improve with each run. I just think let's roll the dice. Like you say, we saw it last year. Constitution Hill didn't make it. God forbid something happens to State Man. Who knows? It's too early to completely write it off as an option, but I think this is where she'll end up. I think she'll continue to improve. I mean, she won the Mares as a 5-year-old. Honeysuckle did it as a 6-year-old. So let's keep the dream alive for the champion hurdle.
No, there's not wrong with that. I mean, sort of without laughing, Keelan, what do you make of his selection?
Yeah, thanks for your input, Rich. Actually, look here, we don't know what's going to happen, do we? As I said, I can't see State Man and Lossiemouth taking each other on all season, and I think unless Lossiemouth beats State Man this season, Willie's not. I don't know. Look, you don't know. I say Willie doesn't know, but it's hard to see for me, it's hard to see her turning up in the champion hurdle unless something happens to Stateman.
It's November, and I'm already trying to decipher Willie Bingo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, look, sure, Willie doesn't know yet.
Do you know what it is?
To...
I can't believe she's the price she is, 7-2. I was surprised. I thought she'd be slightly bigger. Stateman's about 5-1.
I think Stateman's a good bet at 5-1 each way. If you want to wait a bit for that, but yeah, like Kielan said there, but Willie doesn't even know yet if he's got them working together or whatever. But they won't be fully like flat out yet. Well, you just don't know unless they actually race against each other. Whether they will do, we don't know. Will they leave it till last minute to keep us all waiting? Rich will be on 10 trucks by then. But no, either way, it's a good pick. If she gets there, if she goes for it, fair enough.
I mean, I had many bad picks last year, so who knows? Let's start off with a bad pick. It could be a good one.
Yeah, could be, mate. Yeah, keep yourself going. Right, well, I'll do mine then. Well, I'm going to do what I said I weren't really going to do all last season. I'm just going to take a chance on one in the novice division. I tried to stay away from it a bit last time, but it didn't really work out. Although I did get Slade Steel in the end, even though Rich don't think I should have it because it was for any race, but we won't go into that. I'm actually going to take a chance on one in the Supreme, and it's a horse I've really got behind, and I'm looking forward to him running. And he's another one coming from sort of the juvenile division, and it's Salvatore Mundai for the Supreme at 12-1. I honestly really like this horse, and sometimes it comes down to if you really like it visually and you think it lines up, just sod it, go for it. But I've backed him a little bit bigger, but 12-1 I think is a banging price. Obviously, we know what the form's like from the French race. When he comes second to Sir Gino, we know what Sir Gino's gone and done, and what he's probably going to go and do. Whether he's staying over hurdles at the moment in time, but we'll see if that's the case. Obviously, an airplane probably would have won Try and Flash here, but we'll never know. Obviously, the cloud on Henderson's yard at the time was unfortunate. But yeah, I just think Willie thinks a lot of this horse. He's kind of minded him. We didn't see him all season last year, and then he's thrown him into Triumph or 332 odd days or whatever it was. Break. It's heavy ground. He's in against horses that have all had a run. And I thought it was a very interesting race. If you go back and watch it, Brian Hayes is on him. He kept him out the back. He did have a hood on, but I thought he settled pretty well. And he sort of jumped. I went through every hurdle. He jumped every hurdle pretty fine, apart from one or two. We just kind of flicked over. But he's coming to the straight and he's travelling really well. And he's not. To me, he's not asked for any sort of effort. He's kind of just nudging away on him. And he's been beat 17 lengths in the end. But you've got the likes of Milesbury in there. The Doll had a run, Carg's in, all these sort of horses. So for me, it was a good introduction to the racing over here. He's then gone to Tipperary and won by the track, basically, in a complete nothing race, really. But just nice to see him out, jog around. And I just think
his time wasn't bad, though. Did you see that? Sorry.
Yeah, I think a couple of people mentioned that the time was actually pretty decent, but it's one that it wasn't fully extended.
But the time was the same, like half a second quicker than the race before. And I think the top four finished within 5 lengths. So their race was obviously not as, good. But in terms of winning by 60 lengths, you'd think it could have been 5-6 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's it. I just think he just looks the part for me. He's just one of them. He's in them Donnelly colours that I really do like, and I kind of get stuck on one. And this guy's just one I've just a little bit fixated on, but. They mentioned the Raw Bond got mentioned for him as the starting point. Obviously, you're going to have, when we spoke about Romeo Coolio earlier, he's going to probably be in there. And I think if he can come out and beat Romeo Coolio first time out in that Raw Bond, that's going to set him apart, I think, at the top of the market, even though he's just about there already. And I think he'll be not even prime for it, but if he goes there and wins, I think he's kind of solidified himself as the one to beat. You've also got the likes of Redemption. You go through market Redemption Days in there. I mean, I'm surprised they're not just doing another season on flat with him. They seem to keep doing every season.
They're giving him another run in bumpers, Patrick.
They're going to give him a fitness run in a bumper, and then see how he gets on. And then you got Jeroboam Machine. Obviously, he was a really good horse for us last season when he had that one run, but he's been injured. There's rumours of him injured, and is he going to have loads of issues? Is he even going to make it? I mean, hopefully he does, but you just don't know. Jasmine DeVoe. Willie mentioned the other day that he's more of the staying type. Will that push him towards the Gallagher's? People going about, you need a stayer for the Supreme Speed horse for Gallagher's. I don't know. He looks more of a Gallagher's horse to me. And then you're getting into the likes of New Line for Skelton and William Money for Connell, who I quite liked last year, but then he kind of got completely annihilated at Punchestown behind Redemption Day and these sort of horses. So it's kind of like nothing else is coming out of me in the mat. I know it's early. I know we've just hit November and you're talking about novice hurdles where some of them haven't run and stuff like that. So something could come out and absolutely blow everyone away, which is fine. It might do. But just to me, I love Sergino and I just love on the back of that, I'm fixated on this horse. So my selection will be 12-1 for the Supreme and I'm going to stick with Salvatore Mundi. What do you think of that, Keelan? Any thoughts?
I don't know. He's beat a long way in the Triumph Hurdle, wasn't he? I love your optimism, but like I don't know. I don't know much about prices, but you'd probably get 66-1 on the day if he gets there.
You got to be winding me up. I mean, he's off for 300.
No, Willie, he'll end up in the county hurdle or something like that.
Well, to be fair, he did in the stable toy. He did say he said one more run and he's qualified for the county hurdle, and then he said, but he's at the top of market for Supreme, so we'll probably go for that. But it could go Gallagher's as well. So I'm like, well, and then he might go chasing an horse on it.
I think he wear a hood as well.
He did. He did wear a hood. Yeah, he has wore a hood the two times he's run, or 3 times.
Something like that.
Yeah, I thought it settled all right, but it's one of them, isn't it? You don't know. It could
Mossy
be
Man wasn't looking so bad now, is it?
Yeah,
I tell you what, you both laughed at me. I got the best reception. Get in.
I mean, to be fair, the first 2 or 3 weeks picks had always been normally, but it's good to have a chat about 1 or 2, isn't it?
Yeah, I like your optimism, but yeah.
You've got to be optimistic. You've got to get behind him, haven't you? Go on then, Kielan. Have you?
I don't know. He was about 10 lengths behind Salva. Was he? He was Gary Moore's horse in the Triumph last year. He finished 3rd, did he?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose how much would you read into sort of everything else has had a run? He's off sort of 332 days, heavy ground. You know, could he not be entitled to get tidy if he's not really been put in the race?
Not going to need the run for Willie Mullins, is he?
In the
first one.
Right, we've got Malmesbury not actually going to Cheltenham, going to Aintree. We've got Losselhalf ended up in the mares, and we've got Malmesbury beat out of sight at 100-1. Get in.
But I've got you covered.
But we've all got optimism, yeah. Right then, so have you got a selection for us then, Keelan? You're going to put us all to shame with a selection?
Mayor's Novice Hurdle.
What, sorry?
Novice Hurdle. Yeah. Diva Luna.
Oh, yeah. Yep. No, I like that. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. She won the Mayor's Bumper on her entry last year.
Mm-hmm.
She was fairly impressive now, I must say. Rode a good race. Couple of good mares behind her. She jumps unbelievable. I've been schooling her the last couple of weeks. She's about to have her first run of the season. She'd ran a New Toxter the other day, only for the ground was too quick.
Mm-hmm.
So same, she didn't even enter for Newbury this week because the ground's good there. It's going to end up quicker. There's no rain about. So she'll probably go somewhere next week on maybe. But yeah, like her for the Mayor's Novice Hurdle. I know Ben Pauling's half mentioned he might run her in the Supreme, but I'd imagine she'd run in the Mayor's Novice Hurdle. But I think she's very good. She jumps well. She looks like gelding, which helps. And yeah, hopefully she gets there in one piece.
That's brilliant. I'm just quickly getting the price.
I wouldn't have a clue what price she is. Probably, I don't know.
Yeah, she's currently 16-1. Best price, which is obviously a fantastic price. So if you are listening or watching, don't back any of our selections, just back Kielan, because I think that's the only one that's got a chance.
Well, look, the aim is she'll definitely be going to the festival anyway.
Yeah.
And hopefully she comes back out and she shows us the mare that she was showing us last year. But you know, Ben Pauling never really got stuck into her last year. She kind of, you know, she ended up in Market Race and she was supposed to run somewhere the week before and it was abandoned. And he decided he'd run her in the listed race at Market Race and then she went and won it. And then obviously she went straight to entry and I thought she was very impressive up there. So I think Skeleton's mares entered somewhere. Let It Rain, who finished 4th in the entry bumper, was it, or 5th?
Yep, I think she's in somewhere either tomorrow or Thursday.
Yeah, so look, it'll be interesting to see how she comes out and runs, won't it? But their form actually tied in from their point-to-point days as well. I think it was, maybe not, but maybe the bumper in Market Race ties in somewhere anyway to get it before entry. But yeah, she's straightforward. She jumps well, I can tell you that. And yeah, be looking forward to getting her back out in the race course now, to be honest.
Fantastic, Kielan, mate. Well, we'll look forward to it as well. So that's 4 good selections there. Hopefully, we'll see. Time will tell how they get on. As a last note, then, before we do finish off, I'm just going to quickly quiz you. You've got a couple of rides tomorrow, I believe, over at Sedgefield. 2 horses, Sun, Joy, and Talish, if that's how it's pronounced. You got any thoughts on them?
Yeah, I watched Sunjoy again there a second ago. I didn't ride him in Kempton the last day. I thought he could have just jumped better. I think he'll jump better tomorrow. He looks a bit guessy. It's a very winnable race tomorrow. I'll be disappointed if he doesn't win.
Love that confidence. I like it.
I think he's probably better going left-handed too. So left-handed will suit him tomorrow. He jumps a little bit to his left. It's a winnable race. He's going up there for the race. So I'd like to think he should go fairly close tomorrow. And Talish, look, she is what she is. She's been running well in Novice hurdles. She's ended up with a nice mark. Same thing. She's going up there with a great chance, and she's straightforward enough. Yeah, she'll be doing her best, and hopefully she'll fill a place. And if not win it, if she wins, it'll be brilliant.
Fantastic. That's all we can ask for. A nice little run for his money there. So good luck with those tomorrow. Hopefully come with 2 winners, and if not, I'm sure they'll be winning at some point. And so that's it. So really, thank you. All that's I've said is thank you very much, Kielan, for coming on. Hope you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, no, I have. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I got out putting the babies to bed, which helps, doesn't it? So,
so that's
really does help,
yeah. Once you said you were doing it at this time, I said, yeah, no problem, I'll do that.
Yep, that'll do me, no problem. Yeah. Well, so thank you for coming on. You've obviously been a great guest. Joe and Rich, obviously, we're going to be every other Monday night. It'll be 10 shows in total. We've got more jockeys lined up, so it's going to be fantastic. Hopefully, they'll be as good as this show. Also don't forget to enter the competition. Get your first week 1 selections in the comments, and we'll get you added to the competition. Rich and Joe, got anything else you'd like to say before we go?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go. Thanks again, Kielan. We love the Cheltenham show. I never thought we'd have jockeys on. Did we start the podcast 2 years ago? Never thought we'd have jockeys of this caliber on. Giving us the opinions and run-throughs and whatever. So thank you for coming on, and it's brilliant. Start talking Cheltenham, isn't it? And getting
no worries.
Feelings out there, and then getting shot down by the jockeys.
Hopefully the next time I come on, you might be able to spell my name right.
I've just noticed that.
Your selections aren't bad, but come on, your spelling isn't great.
Sorry, mate. I do apologise for that. It does a spell check thing on my computer at work. It's a nightmare. I've got it right on there. Look, I've got it right on there. Look, I got it right on there. Look, didn't I?
Yeah.
Rich did the background, so it's his fault. I do apologise for that. Sorry, Rich. You got any final words to say? Bye, and apologise again.
No, yeah, it's good to be back. Getting guests on, at least as one person that's talking sense out of the 4 of us. So, no, thanks again for coming on. It's been great.
No worries.
Right, so that's it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Hope you've enjoyed that very informative show. As I always say, like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow us all on X, and get your money on the double. Kielan Woods double tomorrow, and hopefully it comes in. If it don't, you didn't hear it from us. Right, thank you, everybody. Goodbye and good luck, and we'll see you again next Monday. Oh, well, no, Monday after, sorry. Thank you, and goodbye.
Goodbye.